This is a quick video on how to install the ESCC spring clips. Let's get started. For this video, I will be using a pair of Vetus tweezers and the dab tool that is included with the Molecule22. So, before we start, it is important that you take note of the orientation of this logo, top and bottom. So you see that the spring clip has a short side, or a narrow side, and a wide side. So you want the wide sides of the spring to be parallel with the top and bottom of the AV logo. Now we'll go ahead and take the dab tool and put the spring on the end of that side and line up the placement. So like I said, the wide side of the spring is top and bottom with the logo, and then line it up with the ESCC post. Now it's okay if you give it a slight rock like that, because it will always tilt into the post. But you need to make sure that the clip goes straight down into the post, so you can take your fingernail and push on the side of the spring that's not going in flush, or use the tool and push on the side of the spring that's not going down. And there we go. That easy. Just pops right in. Now we'll go ahead and grab the other spring. Same thing. Place the dab tool inside of it. Make sure that the orientation is top and bottom with the AV logo. And you can see that it tilted a little bit, so I'll take the tool to push on the bottom of the side that didn't go down evenly. And there we go. Both ESCC spring clips installed rather easily. It helps to take the dab tool and gently push against all four tabs to make sure that they're not snagged. So I just stuck the dab tool in and moved it all four ways against the tabs. I did not push hard, it was relatively gentle. And you just want to make sure you do that to both sides. Again, do not push hard. And then if you have an old ESCC, I recommend doing this with your old ESCC. But all I'm doing is sticking one leg on the spring clip with the other leg hanging off the deck. And then I'll take it and kind of wiggle that ESCC down in. You want to make sure not to rock it too much or tilt it. You want to make sure that you have good even pressure. And I'm just taking my thumb across the top of this ESCC while putting two fingers underneath it like that, so that I have a good secure grip. And that's it. Just putting it in, taking it out. And after doing that on each spring, you'll want to take the ESCC with no zirconia, stick it on both, and gently, you don't want to push too hard. I gently just pushed my ESCC into both spring legs. It did not take excessive force, it went in pretty easily. I pulled it straight out. You want to make sure that whenever you pull the ESCC or you push it in, that you're using straight upward or downward force, depending on what you're doing. So now that we know that the clips are ready and none of the tabs push down, you can see that all my tabs are still good. We'll go ahead and line it up with the zirconia on the ESCC now and click it in. overall, your zirconia should not wiggle excessively and it shouldn't be that loose. And I can pick the mod up and ESCC everything from the zirconia. Now, I don't recommend doing this, and if you do pick it up by the zirconia to test it, make sure you're gentle with it and just pick it straight up. Don't wiggle it around or, risk tilting your legs and busting one off. So, we know it's in there good. We can go ahead and turn on the mod. And it's asking us new coil, which it is, so we'll go ahead and say yes. And this is the ESCC, so we want ESCC TC. And for the ESCC, we want at least 40 watts to 50 watts, so we'll go ahead and do 45 watts. And just to check, I'm going to go ahead and take another reading, which it did not change. So it looks like my resistance was a little lower, and it corrected that. As you can see, it dropped it to 0.68 instead of 0.69. And it's letting us know that we're at temperature, and now that it ran out of time. From blowing on the ESCC during heating, I could feel the heat that came off of it. Additionally, I could see that it was heating up properly. So now what I'm going to do is just let everything cool off for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then I'll probably about 10 minutes. Then I'll come back and I'll take a new resistance reading. It may be a little lower, it might be a little higher, but either way, after you do your test burn, you'll want to take another resistance reading after it cools down. And that is how you install the spring clips and the ESCC, relatively painless and in a way that kind of removes some of the guesswork in making sure that your springs are adequately prepared. I am making an ESCC spring clip installation and removal tool. I've been watching, or I've seen some comments about making an ESCC type tool as well. So I did get an idea from some comments to basically add on to this tool, and I have a really good idea for that, so I'll be showing that off soon. And that is how you install the ESCC and spring clips.